welcome to a new video. I am so excited for this one today because it is not just a book review. It is a book review plus. That is that I give you more than just a book review, and what that will be, I will tell you in just a minute. So first let's discuss the book that I read. I read How to Give Up Plastic by Will McCallum. Now, Will McCallum is the head of oceans at Greenpeace UK. And while I just wanted to say that while I like what Greenpeace does in terms of its why, the how, sometimes I don't agree with it completely. So we will just keep that aside and their politics aside, and just concentrate on what this book is about. So the reason why I wanted to do this video in this month of July is because of some very wonderful thing called Plastic Free July. It is a challenge, a thing that happens every July for the past few years, and because as you can see, I don't know too much about it, I have gotten my best friend, Mehndi Shivdasani, who is also very well versed in anything zero waste or climate change or sustainability or anything, because she herself has been trying to live a zero waste lifestyle for many years and is known as Conscious Chokri. So, Mehndi, can you please tell us, what is Plastic Free July?
Yeah, sure. Plastic Free July was essentially a campaign that was started by the Plastic Free Foundation in Australia in about 2011. And since then, it's become this like big global movement. People talk about it a lot on social media. It's essentially a campaign that's designed to kind of help somebody figure out what kind of single-use plastic do they currently consume or use in their lives, in their schools, their universities, their households, businesses, etc. And then on a week-to-week basis, it kind of offers very simple tips and solutions on what you can do to reduce that single-use plastic. The campaign itself is designed to start a conversation around the fact that single-use plastic is something that can be avoided, and then it offers a few tips and solutions on how to avoid it.
Thanks, Mandy. So, if you're wondering, but Smriti, why are we trying to give up on plastics? Let me and Will and Mehndi and a bunch of other people who are well known in this field tell you why. Plastics itself is not a bad thing. Plastic can be very useful. For example, it has been very useful in the medical field and just a ton of other things. However, the overuse of plastic, and in particular single-use plastic, which Mehndi mentioned previously, is what we are against. Plastic in general is a material that takes centuries and centuries to break down. For that to happen, and if we have so much of plastic that is there in the environment, they kind of just all pile up in landfills or in the oceans, which Will talks a lot about because he is the head of oceans at Greenpeace. And basically all those toxins come back to us, so it's harmful for the environment and harmful for us in the long term and right now. So back to the book itself. The book is very simple to read. It is about 215 pages, and I honestly read it in I think an hour and a half. It is divided into, basically the beginning starts with the macro as to why we are against plastic in particular, and what exactly it does. It gives you the macro sense, and then it breaks it down and goes into the micro in terms of what is happening with you right now and how can you give up plastic. So it gives you an understanding of how one person can make a difference, because ultimately that's what it's about, right? Like million small decisions makes a big impact. So he tells you very nicely how to give up plastic in the bathroom, in the bedroom, in the kitchen, plastic on the go, in the nursery, in the workplace, and in your community. And I thought that this was very simply done, and easy to understand. You understood why these products could be harmful and what the alternatives could be. However, coming to that, the alternatives that he has mentioned, since he is from the UK, and is Greenpeace UK, it was very like for the Western world, and not so much for the Asian community per se, and for us in India, because we don't have these products or these places. I also wanted to mention in particular that Will does a very good job in telling us how we can go about and try to make change as well in the community. And he does this by telling us how to write letters, how to go to meetings and who you should probably meet, how to write a media article or a press release, what sort of petitions you can make and who to give it to, and how to organize protests. He also tells you, for example, how to do beach cleaning and all of that sort of stuff. But I thought that it was very interesting because he gave you examples of what the letter could look like, what the petition could be about, and how to conduct the meeting, etc. So it was a very beginner's guide, which I thought was good because it can be very arduous to kind of think about doing all of these things. So if it was all just spelt out here, I thought it was good. So as I said, it is very Western centric, which is why I have my resident expert Mehndi here. So what I've noticed is that in the book, a lot of the interviews, and because he has done some interviews with other people as well, to kind of understand, the one thing that they're saying is that you need to get rid of your big fours, and that's the minimum that you can do, which is to get rid of your plastic cups and what? Plastic cup and lids, straws, bottles, and bags. So those are the few that you can kind of get rid of. However, in India and in the state that we live in, which is Maharashtra, they are already kind of banning these things. So what is the thing that we can do to kind of get to the next level?
So on the ban itself, I think it's arguable on whether it's actually been implemented, and we can talk hours about that. But if you are an urban dweller, if you will, if you live in a city, and for example, if you happen to buy your coffee, not maybe now during the pandemic, but otherwise, if you order in coffee even, it generally comes in what may think or what you may think is a paper cup, but it's actually a plastic cup. It's paper lined with plastic. So it's not biodegradable, it's not compostable. When it goes into your dustbin, it still finds its way into a landfill. So I think the first easy change to make is whether you're, of course, this kind of applies to a post-pandemic world, since all of us are stuck at home right now. But I think one of the easiest changes to make is to invest in a reusable water bottle and a reusable thermos or cup that you can use to buy any beverage, hot or cold. That's one really quick fix. If you are somebody who menstruates, one of the changes you can make is using a medical grade silicone menstrual cup or cloth pads. You could also opt to make your bathroom low waste or zero waste in many ways, in that you could switch to using a bamboo toothbrush. Granted that toothbrush also will probably have nylon or plastic bristles, but those can be easily removed and you can collect them and put them into an eco brick. But the handle itself is bamboo, so you can compost that. You could also switch to, if you are someone who engages in sort of body hair removal and you shave your body hair, you could use a stainless steel razor as opposed to a disposable plastic one, disposable quote unquote. What else? You could also make your own sort of body care products, whether it's shampoos, whether it's soap bars. If you live a really busy life and you can't actually take the time out to make these things, so it's pretty easy and not so time consuming.
Yes, and Mandy also uses shikakai for her shampoo. She makes her own shampoo at home, and if you can see her hair, it is luscious and amazing. So jealous. All of us are jealous. Everyone who knows Mandy is jealous of her hair. And the secret is homemade shikakai. So personally, I already use a shopping bag. In fact, I use a Conscious Chokri shopping bag when I have to go shopping for groceries downstairs or collect anything. I also have my own tumbler that I use. Apart from this, there are three things that I will definitely pledge to do. One is to shop less for clothes, because as I have read in the book that there is polyester that is in the clothes, so either I shop less for polyester blends, and if I do have to shop for any clothes, I will buy clothes that have natural fabric blends, which is like cottons and wools and silks and all of that sort of stuff. Maybe not silks, but anyway. The second one is to buy less soda, because plastic bottles themselves take forever to degrade. So that is a promise that I'm going to try to make. And then is to shop local. The third thing is to shop local, and I am essentially going to, if I have to buy any banana chips or anything with that respect, I will take my dabba and I will go to the Farsan shop, which is downstairs, right across my house, and I will ask him to put it all in the dabba and not put it in plastic bags. So, Mehndi, are there any other organizations or shops that you would like to shout out?
If you are somebody who lives in the Andheri West area, for example, there is a store called Adrish Zero Waste, which essentially is a bulk store. So everything that they have in their store is loose. So if you order from them, they send everything to you in paper. If you go to the store itself, you can take your own boxes, bottles, to buy whatever, whether it's oils or whether it's pulses, everything that you possibly want in your kitchen is all available, zero waste, quote unquote. They also are on Swiggy. So, even if you don't live in Andheri West, they could potentially deliver to where you're at. And then there are a bunch of companies. There's a company called Gift Green India that sells a lot of body care products that are all plastic free, made locally, handmade with many of their products. Um, and generally, if you're looking to like learn more about this, or get your company or your society to think more about its waste, and figure out how to manage it better, there are companies like Scrap Zero Waste, who offer such services. There's a company called RUR, which offers such services. It can be daunting to try and reduce the amount of plastic you're using, because it's a complex matter. It's not, and it's very layered, and it's also what may work and fit with my lifestyle may not work and fit with yours. So I think it requires a couple of steps, right? It requires just zooming out and looking back at your own lifestyle and seeing where you consume plastic, and then figuring out what are some of the easier ways that you can reduce it in some aspects of your life. All this to say, like, plastic isn't the problem, it's the overuse of it. It's product design, which then kind of comes down to different companies that make different products. Um, but as a consumer, like, you vote with your money. So if you're able to, and if you have access to the internet, that means you have access to just knowledge and information about this problem, and therefore access to solutions.
So that's about it, fellas. This was supposed to be a book review, but as I said, this book was quite interesting. It made me think quite a bit, but also I felt like it was necessary for me and Mehndi to also give you more tips on what you can do personally as well. So I hope that if you did participate in Plastic Free July, it was a good month for you. But remember that it doesn't have to be plastic free only in July. You can also continue this in the months moving forward. I will be also linking a lot of links down below, so make sure that you check them out, and make sure that you follow Mehndi, and that's about it. So thank you so much for watching. If this was great, please do hit the thumbs up button, and subscribe. And do let me know if you yourself have any other tips, if you're going to be doing anything to help reduce plastic, and of course if there are other topics that you want me to cover apart from this. I would love to read those books and kind of help you get to know more, I guess. I mean, yeah. Okay. Bye.